Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, and a sign that indeed 2024 may be the year that woke goes to die and that the world is actually healing out there when it comes to the video game industry, it looks like there's a good possibility that Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts development studio Square Enix is no longer working with Sweet Baby Inc. And of course, this comes not too long afterwards when the CEO gave basically nothing more than a non-answer to whether or not how much the company had actually been involved just a few months ago, because that's one of them situations where this has been something that's been on the tip of a lot of people's tongue. We've seen what any kind of involvement from Sweet Baby Inc. ends up being as far as the video games and kind of diversity, inclusion, and equity nonsense they try to push, and ends up damaging a lot of good storytelling, and they censor things just for the sake of censoring them, even though a lot of the fans and the audiences out there have no desire to see that kind of nonsense in any way, shape, or form. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it may just end up being true, because they are no longer listed on the Sweet Baby Inc.'s website. Yes, and boys and girls, it might actually be a good sign that a lot of these companies out there are understanding what kind of toxic representation that Sweet Baby Inc. has afforded itself over the last few years, and now maybe a lot of people are actually waking up to this and realizing it's nothing more than a death nail for a lot of the games you have hoping to be very huge successes. So we're going to check out this article from that Bounding into Comics this time from our dear sweet Spencer Baculi and show what kind of stuff we found out there and see if this is actually end up being true. But of course, it'll only be a matter of time before we find out if this is indeed the very case of things out there. So Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts dev studio Square Enix appears to have ended working relationships with SweetBabyInc.com from our dear sweet friends over at Bounding into Comics. Make sure you smash that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe and or follow if you have not already, because we are grinding, we are growing around here, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Let us know what do you think about all this, and if you think this is a good sign for the future of Square Enix, and specifically the Final Fantasy series, if they have indeed have cut ties with this kind of stuff out there. So in a development that hopefully bodes well for fans of the company's vast catalog of franchises, Square Enix is no longer listed as an active client of Sweet Baby Inc. Per an archive of the project section of Sweet Baby Inc., the official website, at least as recently as August 2024, the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth developer was listed alongside such fellow studios as Electronic Arts, Ubisoft, and Warner Brothers Games, as well as one of the notorious DEI-centric video games consulting companies' many AAA level clients, as you can see right there. From shout out to the little stuff being able to document all of that kind of thing out there. However, as was discovered by users across social media and earlier this morning, it seems Square Enix is no longer choosing to engage Sweet Baby Inc. services, as their logo has now been completely removed from Sweet Baby Inc.'s publicly listed clients. As you can see, missing right there from the smack dab model right there, no more Square Enix. And honestly, isn't that such a good thing to see out there? In the interest of caution, it should be noted that there does exist a distinct possibility that Square Enix's disappearance from Sweet Baby Inc.'s website is in some way accidental or temporary, the possible result of a website error or a file path misalignment. But should their logo remain absent for the months to come, it would indicate that the supposedly hard at work Kingdom Hearts 4 studio has chosen to, if not abandon, their adherence to the performative concept of capital letter diversity and inclusion, and altogether, at least stop giving them money to an entity whose employees regularly deride their core audience and overall positive development either way. Yes, how many times have we seen Sweet Baby Inc.'s employees, Sweet Baby Inc. employees on their social media accounts lambast fans for not agreeing with the decisions they decided to go with? Oh, color us shocked there. In regards to their history, while it's unknown which of Square Enix's specific titles Sweet Baby Inc. worked on, archives show that they contracted their services at least as early as May of 2022. During that time, the studio was responsible for enacting modern audience-based creative decisions, as censoring slavery-related dialogue in Final Fantasy XVI, covering up such female characters as the female warrior in the upcoming Dragon Quest III remake and Maya in the Dragon Quest Monsters 3, and producing the entirety of Forspoken. And obviously you can talk about the Dragon Quest thing with the Type A and the Type B body stuff, all of that, trust me, all definitely Sweet Baby Inc. influenced decisions. And let's be honest, if one wants to put money on the entire situation, betting on the widely panned, terribly written Forspoken as one of the titles to have received a look over from Sweet Baby Inc. would be the closest thing one could make a sure bet. Yes, the disastrous dumpster fire that's turned into. Interesting, this development comes just a few months after Square Enix president Takasue Kinrar have seemingly non-answered to a question regarding the company's relationship with Sweet Baby Inc. Asked by a shareholder during the company's shareholders meeting in June, personally happy about the shift from quantity to quality. I hope good titles will come out of the future. I'm concerned about the Canadian consultancy company Sweet Baby Inc. Square Enix is listed as a client, but if there is an actual transaction here, what kind of transaction is it? Will they continue to do so in the future? And so, of course, the CEO decided to completely and totally deflect the answer. He said, I would like to refrain from making specific comments about individual clients. As we shift from quantity to quality, providing content that is enjoyable and safe for our customers is also part of what makes our products fun. We will do our best as creators. Essentially going, look, I don't want to answer that question. I don't want to talk about that. This is something that we are going to be cutting off from our people going forward because we're trying to shift from quantity to quality. This is just one of those things that went on the chopping block, and now it's pretty obvious with the evidence coming out there that they have now been erased from Sweet Baby Inc.'s website. Trust me, if they were still attached to Sweet Baby Inc. would want to be promoting this on their website undoubtedly to show their control and domination of the video game industry. Ultimately, just what this development means for the future of not just Square Enix, but also the staying power of performative DEI initiatives in the larger video game outlets remains to be seen. But here's hoping that everything will start shifting in a more positive, less censorious direction. And yes, like I said, this might be a sign that the world is indeed healing, that 2024 may be the year that woke goes to die. But obviously, this is just one of many companies that is still listed on this Rocksteady over here. Xbox Game Studios, Warner Brothers, which obviously Warner Brothers is having issues with this kind of stuff as well. Wizards of the Coast, oh, color us shocked on that one. And that's the thing. Until all of these companies stop kowtowing and listening to these insane folks over there at Sweet Baby Inc. that cause them nothing but disastrous dumpster fires and a bunch of heartache and issues with their fan base out there, this will never truly die out there. All of these companies to completely and totally cut this off, and I'm glad to hear that Square Enix, at least it looks like right now, is cutting off the flow of cash into a company like Sweet Baby Inc., which hopefully will continue going down that exact same path, because nothing that they touch with turns into anything more than a disastrous dumpster fire. We've seen it with Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. We've seen it with a lot of the other kind of craziness going on. And boys and girls, this could indeed be a very good sign for the future of Square Enix and for the future of the Final Fantasy franchise. But at the end of the day, we'll find out whether or not this isn't being a glitch, or if Square Enix is completely and totally sidestepping this question about Sweet Baby Inc. ends up indeed being a good sign of things to come from this company that so many of us have loved for many years.